Obviously, so pleased at our performance today. Our offense from the get-go just took control of the game. We felt like a performance like this was coming. We felt like we've been improving over the last few weeks. The issue was doing it consistently. We talked about being the same team every week, and could we capitalize on some of the positives in Tallahassee last week and kick on with another complete performance. And again, the way we set the tone, the way we came out early in the game was fantastic. It gave us a lot of confidence as a team that we could score every time we had the ball. Defensively, obviously, we gave a couple big plays that were discouraging, but as the first half wore on, we got enough stops to create separation on the scoreboard, because every time we got the ball, we went right down the field. And then special teams, our special teams is still providing the edge. A block punt, a recovered fumble on our punt team. Those are we had another long kickoff return, and just what we are doing and hitting yardage on field position is sort of that's why we look at the total yards. The yards, you get outgained. The reason why I got outgained is because we had short fields. In addition to having 9 fewer offensive snaps, we shouldn't have very far to go to score our touchdowns. But then we had to go a long way. I think we had a 92-yard drive on our first touchdown. When you're ready to play a game, you get the ball, you go down 92 yards and score, which I thought our offensive line did a fantastic job in the run game. DJ averaging 6.4, Cam averaging 9.8. That means somebody's moving somebody, and then the way our guys caught the ball down the field was outstanding. And then what can you say about Jaron Williams? 6 touchdown passes. I think that's an ACC record, a school record. And that leads to us with 52 points, which I think is the most we've ever scored in an ACC game. So it's starting to look the way we want it to look. And we want to be a team that gets better as the year goes on, and we're hoping that this is now what we can be going forward. With that, open up with questions.
Manny, you have an open week now, 3-game win streak. Without mentioning names, you got some top recruits here today. Do you try to use this as a catalyst now in this next 7 days to kind of maybe try to move things forward?
Absolutely. Number one, we got to get our bodies back. We have played some pretty physical games these last couple of weeks. We do have some guys even the guys that are playing that have bumps and bruises, and we have a rare opportunity with this weird November bye week where we can get healthy academically, which people don't think about, but we only have 3 weeks left of the academic calendar. So for our guys to push hard, because we basically have this week, FIU week, then we go on Thanksgiving break when we play Duke. So it's very important for our guys to make up some ground and to finish strong academically, and then to focus our attention on these last 2 games, which will not be in our stadium. Crosstown game against FIU, and then we got to go to Duke. So to get ourselves prepared for both of those 2 contests, so we can finish strong for these senior classes and end up, again, obviously we won number 6 today. We know we're going somewhere, and the goal of this team is to get Shaq Quarterman, Michael Pigney, Romeo Finley, Pat Bethel, Rob Knowles, those guys, to get them on a podium, because they deserve it. Because again, the leadership we had here in the last 3 weeks, when it could have gone either direction, and for those guys to lead this team the way that they have, and there's others, I promise you there's others, Trayvon Hill, KJ Osborne, Jimmy Murphy, but to get those guys on a podium is what they deserve from what they've done for the University of Miami Hurricanes here in the last few weeks.
Manny, were you aware that Jimmy broke the turnover chain?
I don't know that he broke it, right? It does have a latch, right? You know what I mean? Just in case you want to take it off that way. So I did see on the Jumbotron, that would be a Jimmy Murphy thing to do, because he's so physical and does everything full speed. So it makes sense that the turnover chain had no chance against him. But
will turnover chain 4 have more of a durability clause for fear of another?
Jimmy Murphy side effect, that's a possibility. So
seriously though, you alluded to it, that the leadership, this thing could have gone a very different way. How different does everything feel right now as opposed to 3 and 4?
The best part is the players get it, and they know it's their accountability, it's their connections to one another, and it's in the little things, and we see it in practice. You want, as a coach, you want to believe those little things happen. You say, well, why didn't those things happen back in September? Why didn't you do those things in August? And that's the same thing as it's like parenting a child. Why does your child, when he's 8, do everything right? Well, they're 8. Sometimes they don't do everything right. At some point, they have to learn and they have to mature. And we've talked about that. We have a very young football team. We did not honor very many seniors tonight. And we got some young guys that are maturing, that are starting to get it and recognize what wins. And that's been the most encouraging part.
Manny, Jaron had that streak, 3 games, we didn't play a lot, health and everything else. And at the end of that 3rd game, the Pittsburgh game, what did that since then, he's just been a different guy.
Well, it's very easy to look back and say that this has been a turning point. That was a that series turned around our season. For me with Jaron, I think the same thing I alluded to on the question before, of understanding what it really means to be, a week in, week out, big time quarterback at the University of Miami, and how that goes in terms of the preparation, and the little things and the details. And I think the way that he has prepared since that day has been at a different level. And there's a reason why we picked Jaron. Again, as I continue to reiterate, we can win a lot of games with N'Kosi Perry. N'Kosi's done a fantastic job. But Jaron's had a little something extra, N'Kosi's outstanding. Jaron's a little something extra, and I think we're starting to see that little something extra.
The offensive line, once again, seemed like had another solid game today.
They had an outstanding game, I thought, against again a team that's a 3-4 that is sending somebody and slanting and angling on every play, so there's an opportunity for someone to forget who they have or whatever, and I think that's the neatest thing. I think Butch Berry's done, number one, just rebuilding their confidence, just making them believe that they can do it when there's been so much negativity around them coming out of last year and even the way we started the year this year. Number two is just assignment-wise. Like I said, you just don't see a lot of free guys popping in and messing things up. And then three, just getting a little bit of that feeling. We wanted to run the ball today. We wanted to run the ball downhill today. And I think the first play of the game, I think we ran the ball downhill pretty well. And that happened over and over again. And then guess what that sets up? That sets up the RPO game, because now you got to devote more numbers to stop the run. Bang, here comes a touchdown. And you saw a couple of those hit for touchdowns. So those are, again, that's how getting the running game going, getting the offensive line going, getting our backs running hard. Cam Harris ran very hard today. It opens up everything.
Manny, the last time you stood at this podium after the Georgia Tech loss, you seem to still have a confidence about the way things are going, saying there's too much good going on in that locker room. What did you see at that moment that even as losses were mounting that this would get on?
Well, one, I knew the foundation that we were building the program on. It wasn't a hope or a whim that these are values that will win given persistence, right? Which is, again, and that's why I keep saying it wasn't my decision. This is how they've won at the University of Miami for a long, long, long time, which is practicing at an extraordinarily high competitive level on Green Shoe practice field, lifting weights and running at an extremely high level in the off-season program and during the season as well. And then player accountability. And I keep saying, every time a former player comes and talks to our team, they talk about player-to-player accountability. And that was the last part. Are our guys working hard? Yes. That's why I said to them, are they mentally tough? They've shown that in droves. Are we resilient? Yes, we can do all those things. The missing element was, again, the little bit of accountability for that little extra that to me makes a difference in a performance like you saw today from what you saw a month ago. So as a coach, and again, I make the same example as an 8-year-old. You don't get discouraged at your 8-year-old because all of a sudden, they're calling out of the lines. Like, you continue to work with them because you know what you're teaching foundationally is sound. And if we have that, we've got something.
Let's do two more questions for Coach.
What about KJ and Trayvon to come in here and feel like they could be leaders in an unfamiliar environment pretty quickly?
That's very tricky. You got to be the right type of guy, because it's hard to just walk in as a senior and you want to be a leader, but then all of a sudden you're the new face. They've done it different ways because their calendar with us a little bit different. KJ walked in and with his work ethic just took that role. He just was that guy from day one. Trayvon was a little different because Trayvon was coming back from an injury. So didn't get a chance to show his work ethic as much. We didn't really get to see Trayvon in action until August. But Trayvon, as the year went on, has a great knack. He has a great feel for team dynamics. Some guys understand team chemistry, and he saw a lot of things in our locker room. And he was one of the real big guys 3 weeks ago that had a voice that said these are the things that we have to turn around. And so to me, the way they both went about it was different, but both so valuable to our success.
Manny, what was it like doing this today? In your last home game of the season, before the home crowd, they were soaking wet. Senior day, home, just.
Well, we're gonna have one of those soaking wet games every year. It's just gonna happen. So, I thought what was great today for our players and for our fans is they got to see, in my mind, more of a glimpse of what's coming. And when you see how dynamic we were in offense, explosive plays, run game downhill, the RPO game, getting the ball to our playmakers, all the things that we said we wanted to do. And then, we went through some hiccups, guys being in and out of the lineup. That to me looked like the Miami Hurricane offense, and so to me, and it needed to be, because again, Louisville does an unbelievable job running the football. They just do, you know. And it's a hard running game to try to simulate in practice. We had mixed success stopping it, but to have an offense that you have confidence in that says, hey, you don't have to be perfect defense today. We got this. Was fantastic for us.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.